can go ahead. You can go ahead and say your passport.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan. I'm a third year computer science major. I'm running for IVP just because I want to get back to Kava. I joined my second year because I wanted to join like another family, and I felt that Kava was I felt that Kava would be another family for me. So I just love Kava's family atmosphere, and I wanted to try to continue that next year with just encouraging everyone to go to friendship games, using KFAMs again, continue to use class reps to bring all the classes together, and then as well as like just making sure that like the attendance for meetings and journal meetings is consistently high. I plan to do that in a variety of different ways. Partially just like trying to contact people just after first gen, trying to remind them that first gen's not always like, or like general meetings aren't always like first general meeting. They're different. There's different types of meetings for your different interests. So that's how I plan to keep the family atmosphere.
Nice. Does anybody want to start off with the question? Rob.
So for the past 3 years, I've had a shitty KFAM because autism quizzes don't show up. How we hold autism quiz accountable to actually give first years the experience that you want them to experience and also maintain member retention within college.
What I plan to do with that is to try to keep the quiz and authors accountable. I plan to meet with the quiz and authors weekly, just try to get like a feel for like how their KFAMs are doing, how they're doing with their KFAMs, if anyone's like coming up, if people are missing. Like we understand that people like work comes up, school comes up, personal issues come up, but my goal is to at least try to make the quiz and authors put in the effort to at least make sure that their KFAMs have a great experience, just as a whole. Because I feel bad if like someone like didn't feel like their KFAM like was the most fun, or like if they didn't have the same experiences. So that's how I plan to attack that.
Any other questions? Last question, y'all. It's gonna be your tech board for next year.
8:27.
Oh.
Okay, so last year Jordan, last year's IVP, he started this new thing called Spring Retreat. Some of the new members in Kava might not know what it is or might not have been, but I went to Spring Retreat last year and I think it was a great idea, but some people might not have liked it. So we already have Kava's Big Bear Retreat, and that's always a big thing. That's always like drawn in a lot of members. So how would you approach Spring Retreat, and how would you encourage members to go? And like, what are some ideas you have for Spring Retreat?
For Spring Retreat, just if people have problems with it, my goal is really just like try to encourage them to come out. If it's the idea of a retreat, like you don't have to do what everyone else is doing at a retreat. You can just like come out to meet people. Like my Spring Retreat experience, like the first Spring Retreat I like went to was last year, and that was the first main event that like I like met people from Kava. So I feel that if people want to like come out to Spring Retreat, just like try to like keep welcoming them. Just try to like allow them to like encourage them to like make friends at Spring Retreat, and just like try to make it like as many connections as they can from Spring Retreat. I plan to keep doing Spring Retreat, and I really just want to have like a fun experience for everyone.
More questions coming from the general members? Alden.
Do you have any creative new ideas you're going to bring to the table?
I do. I felt that James' ideas for this year were really good. The K-Fam of the Year Awards I feel are a really good idea. I hope to like expand on that by joining or like attaching every K-Fam to another K-Fam, by making like a K-Fam cousin or like a cousin family. That way, like, you don't just get close to your K-fam, but to another K-fam as well. And then it doesn't have to be the same exact K-fam either. Like, it can change over the quarter, or it can change depending on the quarter, so that you don't always get close to the same K-fam, but to other K-fams in Calvin as well.
Very good. Many people are intimidated by Columbine, especially when they come like the leader and they see how everyone's really close. So how will you maintain that retention?
For those people, I just try to become their friend. If I see a new face at a couple meeting, I'll try to introduce myself, just say hi, I'm Jordan, and just try to have a conversation with them. Because honestly, what I think is that if you make one friend in Kava, eventually that one friend will lead you to meeting more people in Kava. That's how my experience was, and I feel like if you're that first friend, you can encourage them to keep coming out. They'll have someone that they know at Kava meetings, which will encourage them to come out, and just sorry. Knowing one person will allow me to like introduce them to other people. So.
More questions?
Sorry.
Oh, Tiff.
So this year, on paper at least, Kava has over 400 members, but as you noticed, obviously not all 400 members come out. And it's understandable that people come out for different reasons. So how is it that you're going to hold the general members accountable for being in Kava? Because you don't just want members that join for like a t-shirt or something and then just dip out. Like, how are you going to encourage all 400 members to really like come out?
As far as that, at first gen I understand that we get the contact info of all the people that like fill out the member forms. I feel just contacting them, just continuing to hit them up. Just like it doesn't even have to be like during Kava. It could be just like you want to like go get some food or like you want to just hang out. Just making a personal connection to all the people that are curious about Kava will encourage them to come out to meetings. And then another thing I have in mind is a winter quarter activity, because I know we have Big Bear, but winter quarter usually has less events than fall quarter and spring quarter. Fall quarter we usually have like friendship games and just first gen, but I feel like a winter quarter activity that could get all Kava like excited about will keep it consistently high instead of having like a dip in like attendance.
More questions? I have a question. As a lot of the questions center around, as IVP, one of your main focuses is member retention. Personally, what was the factor that got you into Kava? Like, why are you still here in Kava?
Just personally, just the K-fams. I got really close to my K-fam last year. They've got me to come out. Going to spring retreat was another big factor for me, because going to spring retreat, I met a lot of people in Kava that I personally had never I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to meet them if it wasn't for that retreat. So just meeting a lot of people and just like continuing to make connections with a bunch of people in Kava, it just kept me coming out to Kava.
Any other questions coming from the crowd? Any? Go. Oh, John.
So this year we had like varied numbers of quiz and options for K-FAM. So like some had 2, some had 3. What were your thoughts on that, and what do you plan on doing about that next year?
As far as that, I feel it really depends on the K-Fam. Again, what I plan to do with that is to have the meetings with the Quezonantes, just to like make sure that their K-Fams are doing well. I understand that like the members or the number of Quezonantes. I understand that like a lot of people like from their first year, like from their second year, like they kind of like plan to be a Quezonante. So my goal is really just like keep them in check, make sure how they're doing, and just make sure that like their K-fams are like getting calls and that they're putting in the effort to do that.
Hi. So to piggyback on that question, an issue with Kuis and Authors this year is whether or not the IBP is going to allow all seniors that wanted to be in Kuis and Authors, or if they were going to be given a chance to be Kuis and Authors. It was either let everyone who wanted to be Kuis and Authors be Kuis and Authors, or cut it down so that like there wouldn't be like that dead K gap. And like if you were in that position again next year, how would you approach that situation?
I'd approach it by asking like if they've been coming out consistently to Kava. I feel like although it would be a spark for you to keep coming to Kava, if you are a career ate, if you haven't been coming to Kava before then, I'm going to be less inclined to give you a K-fam. But I mean, obviously, like stuff happens. People have work issues, just other issues that they have to deal with. Like I'll be understanding with that, but I have to also make sure that you as a Korean ate, you're going to be there for your K-fam and you're going to be there at college meetings as well.
Yes. No, you can't see that. Okay. I have to make this close. Any other questions for our IBP candidate?
Wait, what is the leadership style?
My leadership style is really just your actions speak louder than words. You don't always have to talk or like order people around in order to be a good leader. I personally think that if you do what you think is right, people will want to emulate that. So I feel that if you just work hard and just believe that do what's good for the whole, then you can be a good leader.
Any other questions? More questions for our candidate? Mark.
You're an ice cream flavor. What would you be, and how does that relate to your personality?
I'd say passion fruit. I'd say passion fruit just because just the 2 years that like I've been in Kava, it's kind of grown my passion for Kava, and I just wanted to give like running for the pitch, and I want to give back and just like make sure that Kava becomes or continues to be as successful as it's been for like the past 4 years.
Any other ones? Cool, going once. Going twice. All right, cool. Thank you to our IBP candidates. You have closing statement. Your closing statement. You have 30 seconds for a closing statement.
So yeah, even if I wasn't to become IPP, I'd still try to get back to Kava any way I can, whether it be Ikuya or Grates, or trying to be Ikuya, possibly packing board, and just like participating in packing too. So just continue to come in meetings. I would still like try to do that, and just try to meet as many people in Kava, and just like, try to make sure that their experience is a good one. So.
Nice. Thank you, Jordan. You can go ahead and have a seat. Cool. All right, can we all I don't know, congeal? Like awkward. I like congeal. No? Okay. Huh? Coagulate? Okay, just kidding. Okay, cool. So up next we have our two EBP candidates. John, would you like to explain a little bit what the EBP does?
Hi, I'm the EVP. So, for external vice president, a lot of the stuff that I would do focuses on the external affairs that Kava would be involved in. So, I work a lot with organizations within UCI, but also external organizations outside. So, like Anarbayan, KFB, a lot of different community organizations that we work together to collaborate with different issues that I feel are relevant to the general membership, because a lot of the stuff is really different just because we are UCS students, but there are a lot of other things that compose us for our general membership, and I bring in a lot of the stuff that I feel like is relevant, and I just bring that out there so to educate, but also to bring involvement within our membership so that we give back to the community.
Woo! Yeah.
Cool, awesome. So with that said, can we please have our 2 EVP candidates come up? We have Desiree Donato. And we have Arlen McDonough Jr. No, it's not too late to opt out. Oh, no, it's too late to opt out. We have to do this. Alright, so for you all, it's the same thing. You have 2 minutes for your platform, and then for each question that the general members ask you, you have 1 minute, and then I have these very nicely made time thingy things. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. So you all want to play rock paper scissors on who gets to go first? Okay. So whoever wins gets to pick who goes first. Yes.
Oh, he just said I can go first.
Oh. Okay. All right. That's easier. Okay. All right. So and go.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Desiree Donato. I'm a 3rd-year literary journalism major with a minor in Asian American Studies, and I just wanted to let you all know how passionate I am for CABA. I'm currently the community advocacy coordinator, and I work closely with a lot of the community, Filipino community organizations outside of CABA Bayan, like KMB, Anak Bayan, Affirm, and whatnot. And I just want to let you all know how much I want TAPS to be on this campus, whether or not it'll be here when I'm here or before I graduate. I really want it to be here for the future of CABA and for the future Filipino Americans that will be here in the future. Yeah.
Woo! Oh, no, you can go ahead.
Hi, I'm Arlen Maxwell Jr. I'm a 3rd-year aerospace engineering major. I've been part of CABA for 2 2/3 years. I didn't join it so much, of course. And something I want to do as EVP is kind of be more involved with the APSA community, because we are Asian Pacific people, and I just want to bring more involvement, and so we can learn more about their issues and they can learn about ours, and hopefully we can learn more about ourselves, not just as a group, but as individuals. I think that's it.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. So, for each of the questions, we'll wait till both the candidates have answered each of the questions, and then we can apply. Yes, sorry, I kind of started off wrong. Okay, got it. All right, so would anybody like to start off the EVP platform by asking a question? All right, we have, we have Rob.
So, how important is Alianza to you, and how important is the relationship that CABA has with Alianza and its other 3 respective sister boards?
Could you repeat the question, please?
How important is Alianza to you, and how important is the relationship that CABA has with Alianza and its 3 respective sister boards?
Sure, I guess Allianz is very important. I'm actually also a part of all the other Allianz orgs, Fusion, PAS, and PIMSO, and I've seen the different things it can do for each of the members. And I think it's important to have it because we are all under the Filipino community, and yeah, sorry, I froze. Question again, please.
Personally, how important is Alianza to you, and what is the importance of the relationship that CABA has with Alianza and its 3 respective sister boards?
Okay, so relationship-wise, okay, let's face it, CABA isn't exactly going to be for everyone, but I have seen former Kava members move to those other Alianza orgs to find out what their real like niche or their the area they want to explore. So even though Kava is the general Filipino club, it will help members to find what they really want, and I think that's what is important.
So personally, I really think that Alianza is beneficial for all the sister orgs or brother orgs, I don't know, to Kababayan, PAS, PUSO, Fusion, just because it brings together all of the Filipino American students on campus. And like what Arlen said, if Kaba isn't their niche, then they'll find something that they love or find something passionate that they want to continue in one of the other organizations. And I also feel that going back to why I want TAPS on this campus, we really need to collectively come together to start that movement. And I am all for it. And next year, if I were to become EVP, I would want to start a committee once again. I know it was done before, but to really start that movement and start talking to administration because I want to act now. And yeah, okay.
More questions for our candidates? Justin.
As EVP, Alianza is important, but it's also important to learn about other cultures. So how would you promote Kawabayan in other cross-cultural organizations, other organizations outside of cross? But not just promote Kawabayan, but like Kawabayan and issues of Filipino identity and our presence here in Irvine and within our campus.
Personally, I have actually attended some of the different general meetings from the cross, like MECHA and whatnot, and I have been able to create some of those connections within those members, and I've actually talked about Kaba through those like little short chats that we've had, and it's just continued, and after that, I'm able to talk to them about the different struggles that Filipino Americans as a whole have, and so I feel like just building those connections and actually just going to those general meetings, because I know that some of them stop by at Kaba, or I'm sure some of them stop by at the other Alianza sister org, so just really building that connection at first, and then talking more after with them, and also, yes.
Similar to Desiree, I have attended some other meetings like TI and TA, but I think what I want to do is create collaboration meetings, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Kaba has done some long ago, and I think it's time to bring it back. Even though our meetings work very differently, whereas we are very informative, whereas they're very, just say what's coming up and they just go to an after event. But I think there's something to be learned on both sides, not just about media mechanics, but also about each other's cultures. Like, I'm sure we could have collaborated on something like this for a debut and then learned about how another culture's coming of age day works.
John.
Please critique the current culture.
Me? Or you?
That's
It's
right.
back and forth, so I think the current position holder has done a great job of doing his job as EVP, bringing community awareness to the Filipino community with KabaCon and Filipino Visibility Week. I haven't really noticed anything wrong. If there's anything to improve, I guess just like building up more, just trying to go up more, but all in all, it's fine. It's good.
So, as a current community advocacy coordinator, I work closely with the current EVP, and he's done a lot of great things this year for Kaba, and I just want to commend him for that. but one critique would probably be for KabaCon. I just noticed that throughout the whole process, he really wanted it to be successful, and yet, yes, it was. But during the actual event, I noticed that he often stowed away to think about things because I noticed that he was then totally talking. Sorry. What do you say? You have 10 seconds. Oh, basically, he was keeping to himself the whole time, and I think that he should have let his frustration or anything that he wanted to say out to board rather than just keeping it to himself. Sorry.
Oh, there's a lot of questions. I like this. Ray.
What's one reason you think you should not be EVP?
As a literary journalism major, it requires a lot of time and it's very time consuming. And I would like to focus, why should it? I would want to focus a lot of my time, my last year, on writing and strengthening my writing and being more involved in the different writing outlets on campus like New U and Insight. And I would also like to get an internship so that can advance my career in literary journalism. So that would be one reason why I shouldn't get the position.
For me, similar situation. Final year as an aerospace engineering major, I'm glad to be involved in a lot of projects. Lab reports and homework take forever. And not only that, but to be honest, I haven't been able to go to any KabaCons or any, I haven't been very active in terms of, for something like KabaCon. I haven't been able to show myself much as a leader for bringing Filipino visibility as much as Desiree, who was the community builder.
Sorry, can I go? Raya.
So EVP does play an integral role in KabaCon conference, and in KabaCon they have a lot of workshops, with Filipino identity, Filipino culture. So what is one workshop that you all wish you envision to implement in the KabaCon conference, and why?
Oh man. Okay. Like I said earlier, I haven't really been to any KabaCon, so I'm not aware of what they have. But I think something that would be interesting is having a panel for those who might be half Filipino, because I do have a half sister and she's half Filipino, and she did kind of struggle growing up what her identity was. So I think something like that would be interesting.
Okay, so one workshop that I would really be invested in is to have one on the lack of Filipino women's representation within social media and just in general, because I feel like they don't get acknowledged as much and their contribution to our society. So I would want to have some guest speakers, feminists and whatnot, and talk to a firm because they are based around that. And so yeah, women's rights, Filipino women's rights in general.
So when you go upstairs, scattered all over the floor, the Allianz room are all those photos of Cabo. And when you look at those photos, there tends to be happiness, there tends to be a lot of people attending all these conferences and stuff. When you look over the past couple of years, you see the decline in attendance that has occurred between events that have been thrown in Cabo, especially KabaCon. So how do you plan on keeping people really highly interested into these events and sort of bringing back the notion that people are actually enjoying getting something out of these focusing conferences that you guys are planning to throw, if you plan on throwing KabaCon?
I would start from the get-go. So from the beginning of the year, I would definitely relay that message across the board, like Cabo Buy-in board, and let them know how much KabaCon is how much that single programming can influence a lot of the general members, and I want them to see how important it is as much as how important I think it is as well. So I would go to several individuals, well not several, but multiple individuals and talk to them how influential that specific programming is and what the different workshops can offer, and probably start a poll and ask them what they would like to see so that that can bring out more members into KabaCon, and also talk to the other respective sister orgs so that they can also come out to that and bring more retention.
I guess the obvious answer is to just, pub harder or use word of mouth to spread. But I guess the thing we have to do is really emphasize what you can learn and what you can get out of it. And like I kind of talked about earlier, expand what we want to do to the other APSA orgs, or maybe even BSU and Mecha, and see if they can learn anything from our conferences or our workshops so that they can apply it to, if they want to make their own conference or for their own personal life. Yeah.
Okay. Bringing it back to Alianza related business. Do you have any plans on how else to bring all the other railroads together other than collab meetings?
I'm going to need a few seconds more on that one. I guess aside from collab meetings, just more intermingling between the general members. Members, and there are some overlap in members between all the other Alianza orgs in Kaba, especially during Packin. So maybe just by word of mouth and just try to encourage them to go switch between meetings every now and then. I think aside from collaboration meetings, that's one of the best ways we can create strong bonds between the organizations.
To add on to what Arlen said, I think just to really encourage the members to come out and support the sister orgs, because like I said again, we are all well, not all, but like the organizations all, never mind. Basically, I would, can you repeat the question?
Other than collab meetings, how else would you bring together the other umbrella organizations?
Just to encourage all of the members within our respective org to go out to the rest. Personally, I don't have any other way of doing it because each general member will do what they want, and all you can do is really encourage them and by word of mouth and tell them how great the other orgs are and how beneficial they can be to them. And all you can do is probably go from there and maybe go with them to the meetings. Sorry, yes.
Nice. Dustin.
What's your best or happiest experience in Kaba, and how has it influenced you today, and how will it affect you, or influence your decisions as prospective UB? See how deep
What?
Repeat the question.
Justin, what was the question again?
What was your happiest best moment, favorite moment from Kaba since you're both there years, and how has it influenced you today? You first regards today, and how will it influence you as next year as prospect UBD?
Okay, so I think the happiest moment would be the night that I found out that I was the community advocacy coordinator, just because I didn't know what it had in store for me, and I knew coming into my interview that that was the position that I wanted, and I wanted to reach out to community organizations, and I wanted to make sure that that translated through the general members, and that I accomplished that throughout the year, and I felt that I have done that. I started Speak this year, and that was also another happy moment for me because I didn't know how successful it was going to be, and it turned out to be really successful. And I'm a big fan of spoken word, as you all know.
Repeat the question one more time.
What is your happiest favorite moment? It's a happy question. What's your happiest favorite moment in Kava? How has it influenced you in the person you are today? And how will it influence you in your decision making next year in your UP?
I guess for me it would be being a part of Pack and Board as a props coordinator, because having to help put the show together really showed me that whoever's participating in Pack-In is being a part of something bigger, whether it be bring Filipino disability or bringing up issues that affect our community. Being part of something bigger has really taught me a lot. And I guess that kind of relates to being an EVP. And personally, it's just helped me become more sociable. It kind of gave me a drive to work more, I guess.
Just kidding, Daniela.
So I took out really quick. So hopefully this wasn't asked. Okay, so I get asked a lot what Kava does, what Kava is. And then they'll be like, oh, so you're Filipino, or do you guys just party a lot? And obviously that's not true. And I just want to hear like, okay, well, I just want to hear what your personal definition of Kava is, of what this organization is. And like your professional, I guess how you would explain what Kava is to someone asking from a different word.
Kava Bayan is a Philippine organization that tries to tackle, that is not only social, but tries to tackle political or social issues plaguing the Filipino or even Asian American communities through JFAB or Pack-In. It's kind of the simplest definition I can give right now.
Okay, so for me, Kava equals family, and I know that sounds super cliche, but it really is. Within Kava Bayan, there are many different families, like the Kasama families. So I think to me, to let other people know about what Kava Bayan is, I would tell them that it isn't just a partying organization. There's 5 different aspects. There's academics, there's social, there's political, there's cultural, there's community, and all of Kava Bayan encompasses all of that. And if they want to find what they're, they can find something that they're passionate about. All those different aspects can attribute to them. So let's say for sports, they really want to play basketball, then they can do that. If they want to be an activist, they can help with JFAB and whatnot. And then, 10. Oh, okay, yes. And so there's different programmings for everyone, and not every single one will get them out, yes, but I'm sure they're going to.
So as a campus climate intern, we run programs such as Language is Powerful, which addresses verbal abuse and misuse of derogatory terms on campus. And it's really hard for my commission to reach out to the Filipino community just because we don't really have contact How would you as EVP help bridge that connection, or would you even reach out to us?
So I currently am an academic engagement intern. So I do work under ASCCI. So as EVP, I would want to bridge that gap because that's very important. And I would want to be a liaison between the Campus Climate Commission and Kababayan and probably Alianza as a whole. So I would want to reach out because I feel like that's something that everyone needs to be aware of, whether or not they are for it or against it. They just need to be educated about it. So I would want to have workshops, possibly during a Kababayan meeting or one of the other meetings that we have, to educate everyone about campus climate and whatever you all have in store.
Could you repeat the question again, please?
So pretty much, as Campus Climate, we fund programs to help bring awareness to like the misuse of language and other sorts of stuff. As EVP, would you reach out to our commission, and how would you bridge that connection?
Okay. Yes, I would like to bridge that connection. The only problem is I don't really have much or any professional connections with ASCCI, but I'm sure if I try hard enough, I'll be able to establish some. And I'd like to not only go through Alianza, but with some of the other APSO orgs or other cross-cultural orgs, so that we can all bridge a connection together, because that's not something that just affects the Filipino community or the Asian community, but it kind of affects everyone.
Okay, let's say that there's someone that's equally as assertive as you, and you both have conflicting opinions, and you're really adamant about this opinion, but this other person thinks the other way. How will you handle that situation?
In what sense? Like in what setting?
Like, let's say you try to run this programming, but this other person is really against it, but you're really, trying to put your investment towards that event. How will you how will you handle the situation with that person?
What does that mean? Okay. I guess, so you're basically asking a question about conflict resolution in general? Yeah?
Conflicting opinions.
Sorry, conflicting what?
Conflicting opinions.
Conflicting opinions. I guess the first thing I would have to do is just take a step back and see where they're coming from. Maybe there is a reason why they're advising against it. So I would have to look at it from there first. And if they have a valid reason, then I can either back off or tone it down, whatever I'm trying to do. That would be the first step. But if I find a reason that maybe their reasoning isn't valid, then I would have to convince them that their reasoning isn't valid. There is a reason why I'm doing it, and hopefully we can reach a conclusion from there.
So I believe that every person is entitled to their own opinion, and if a certain someone doesn't believe in the certain programming or the certain themes or any actions that we're going to take, I would also, like Arvin said, take a step back and try to recollect and think what this program has in store for everyone, because I feel like that specific programming is just offering opportunities for everyone, and we're catering to the general membership, not specific individuals. But like Arlen also said, I would want to talk to that person and see where they're coming from, because everyone is raised differently, everyone is raised with different backgrounds, so I want to know where they are coming from with their standpoint and talk to them about it. And if they still feel that way, then I would have invested a lot of time into this programming already, so I wouldn't take it out just because that one person doesn't feel comfortable with it.
Rob.
So, as EVP, work with organizations such as KMB, Anak Bayan, People's Court, SIPA, Crazy Ass Mom, and like all those type of people, and they're highly polarized and they're highly, maybe even militant. How do you plan on steering Cabo, one of the largest Filipino orgs in actually the nation, into developing a sense of political identity, and developing this club into something that's not just people, but people power?
So, since I am currently the community advocacy coordinator, I've already worked with several of those people, like among all, KMB, Anak Bayan, Affirm, SIPA, People's Corps. So I think that it starts there with the connection. So since they do know me, I feel like I can bridge that gap and then have them come here. I mean, they've already come to Kaba, and I'm sure many of you already have met them, but I would want to educate everyone even more, because right now we're at the point where we need TAPS. I currently added the Asian American Studies minor because I want to learn more about my history, and today we talked about Philip Veracruz, and not a lot of people know about that stuff, and I feel like it's a right to know about our history, and I feel like to start with TAPS and talking to the different community organizations to help us with that will be beneficial.
Could you repeat the question one more time, please?
So you're going to be dealing with orgs that are basically highly polarized and militant, and how do you plan on serving one of the largest Filipino orgs on campus into something that's not just people, but people power?
Okay, I got that one. Unlike Desiree, I don't have those connections, so she's clearly at an advantage. But I think something that can be done is you start with the general members, and you teach them that they have the power to create the change that they want to see. Similar to Desiree, you teach them about the history, that what some of our ancestors have done, or even look at other groups and see what their ancestors have done, or what they've personally done. I think that's the best way to go about it, is just start with the general members and teach them and build them up from there.
When looking for, pertaining to next year's board, when picking out the members of the board, would you prefer passion or qualification, and why?
You say passion? Personally, I think I would choose passion, because if they're really passionate, then they'll put in the work to improve themselves, and hopefully general members will see what they're doing and then see their passion, and hopefully that will pass on and rub off on to other general members, and hopefully get them involved into whatever they find themselves being passionate about. So passion over qualifications.
Similar to Arlen, I would also choose a passionate board, just because if you think about it, if you choose a qualified individual and they aren't passionate about what they what they are doing, then they won't be as successful as the person who is passionate about what they're doing. So yeah, passion. Let me say it already.
Okay. Last two questions. Daniel.
Okay, so the current EVP has actually inspired me and like helped me come out to the Comic-Con, right? And after that Comic-Con, I was actually pretty inspired about my own history. And after that this year, I actually went back to my apartment and watched like our own Filipino history while eating ice cream. What kind of ice cream flavor was it? Passion fruit and why? Yeah.
Why?
Okay, I would choose pistachio from Rite Aid. From Rite Aid. Because it has pistachio ice cream and it has pistachio nuts, and I am a mix of different things, so yeah.
You want the joke answer or the real answer?
Both. How about both?
You have a minute. Both.
Okay, joke answer. I'm part white. If anyone
Oh.
can see. So, my answer is cookies and cream. I'm dark and white. But okay, in terms of the real answer, cookies and cream because you kind of get a little bit of, you kind of get two flavors in one. And I'm kind of, in that way, I'm kind of multifaceted. Is that the right word? Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. And, like, all the different size chunks show, like, I kind of like to do a lot of different things in that. I kind of forgot what the answer was. But yeah, cookies and cream.
Last question. Anyone have a last question? Okay, I'll ask the question. Sorry, last one. So there's a lot of facets to being an EVP. What should you be elected? What's something that you look most forward to, like being as Kava's EVP, like programming wise, and why?
Yeah, so, could you repeat the question one more time, please?
Oh God. Oh.
Sorry, I just like to.
There's a lot of factors that comes with each position, and that also applies to EVP. What's the most what programming of the EVP are you most excited to execute, and why?
Okay. As a VP, like I mentioned earlier, I really want to work with some of the other APSA groups and maybe start doing collab meetings again, so that we can learn more about another culture and as well as our own, and we can, because look, we always try to teach others about the Filipino culture. How many times have we actually tried to take it upon ourselves to learn about someone else's culture? And from that, we can learn more about ourselves, not just as a group, but as individuals. And shoot, I had one more thing to say. That's kind of gone. Question one more time.
What's it called? What programming of the EVP are you most excited to execute?
Oh, right. Okay. From creating the collaboration meetings, I want to help members. I want to teach members to ask why or how. Like for instance, from today's meeting, I kind of took it upon myself, at the end of the meeting and the break we had, to kind of look up what were some other coming of age celebrations in different cultures, and I kind of learned about that, like other cultures and mine as well. So, yeah.
Something that I'm really looking forward to is, like what I've mentioned earlier, is to create that TAPS committee. It's really important that we spread awareness about our culture and what Arvin said, learn about other cultures. And also, with that being said, it would be KavaCon, just because I can bring the two together and have people talk about the importance of TAPS and probably bring other schools that actually have those classes and talk about the importance of that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and even though it may be one of the most difficult things, I'm up for the challenge.
So you both have 30 seconds each for your closing statement.
Even though I did very horrible today with my speaking and I wasn't able to articulate very well, I just want you all to know how passionate I am, and I'm sure it shows through the programming and all my time that I commit to Kababayan and also Alianza. So I hope you all see that. Yeah, and if you have any more questions, you can feel free to ask.
Probably shooting myself in the foot with this one, but kind of ask you guys to think about more about Desiree, just because she does have more experience with this at being community and like having those connections and bringing out that TAPS initiative. I just kind of want to bring up some good points. So sorry if I wasted your time. But, want to hear more from me, you can talk to me later.
Nice. Okay. I can't get up. My feet are asleep. So. Huh? Oh, look, I can't sit up. My feet are asleep. Hold on. Wait. Okay. Alright. Okay, so now. Alright. Okay. So. Wait. Hi. Hello. So, thank you all for staying and listening to our both our IVP and EVP candidates. Voting will be done through the same method as the presidential elections. So they'll be sent out tonight because I actually know how to work it this time. And also next week we have our secretary and treasurer platform. So please come out to that. And with that said, let's clap it out. I keep moving.